Come Away was released in 2020 and it sounded really interesting, but unfortunately it really, really isn't. This is directed by Brenda Chapman, written by Marissa Kate Goodhill, and we have a cast including Gugu Mbatha-Raw, I apologise I've mispronounced that, and Ava Fillery, Carter Thomas, Jonathan Garcia, Jordan A. Nash, and various others. We also have Angelina Jolie, so even though I didn't really like the film, I do like Angelina Jolie, so it wasn't a tremendously bad experience. We have two main characters, Alice and Peter, and they are meant to be Peter of Peter Pan and Alice of Alice in Wonderland. And I'm not against the idea of mashing together these worlds, these characters. I don't hate that as a concept, but it doesn't work. They should have, if they wanted to tell a story like this, they should have just focused on the Peter Pan aspect and maybe created this new backstory for the character. I'm not against that either, because as much as I love J.M. Barrie's work, I don't mind it if somebody wants to take creative liberties and come up with their own scenario for the character's background. I don't mind it. I don't have a problem with it. And they should have just focused on the Peter Pan aspect. It's about the fact that Alice and Peter's brother David died, and it's about what happens afterwards that ultimately leads to a story of Peter Pan that we know a little bit more closely. And it is a nice idea, but it doesn't really work. Maybe it would have worked more if they just focused on Peter Pan. I think that might have been a bit more interesting. It feels more of a gimmick, the way it's presented just now. And maybe one could read into it as being an interesting story about the tragic loss of their sibling and how that led Peter Pan to become the Peter Pan we know. And yeah, again, I don't hate that as an idea, but as a story, it doesn't work. It's just a mess. It's all over the place. The characters are not that interesting. I think they tried too hard to make it too different, too unique, and if they just stripped it back a little bit and just focused on the Peter Pan aspect, maybe it would have been a little bit better. But on the plus side, the music's great, the costumes are great, the performances are very good, we have some really nice locations. So everything other than the narrative, I'd say, is very well done. But the story, I feel like they tried too hard, missed the mark. It could have been interesting, but they overcomplicated it, and that meant that it just fell apart a little bit. So it's not a terrible idea, but the execution doesn't work, and I think maybe they could have stripped it back and made it a more interesting story, focusing purely on Peter Pan. Come Away could have been great, but I think they took the wrong approach with it, and ultimately, while there are some good aspects outside of the narrative, the story itself just didn't work very well.